Success is a good thing. Failure is a bad thing. Prosperity is a good thing. Poverty is a bad thing. Health is a good thing. Illness is a bad thing. And so we put these we've put life into boxes, and we've said, this is good, this is bad. Then we see people who are doing wonderful work for humanity, living selflessly, giving of themselves, and they're getting things that look like they've come from the bad box. Or we see people who are living selfish lives, who are lying, who are cheating, who are living only for themselves. And it seems that they're getting things from the good things box. The first problem becomes with our boxes. There's nothing in the cosmic scheme of things. There's nothing in any scripture, there's nothing that any enlightened master of any tradition has ever said in which we're told being a billionaire is the good thing. Being a CEO is a good thing. Being the most beautiful is the good thing. Having children in the best school, having the highest white picket fence, this is the good thing. Nobody ever says that. Other than, of course, the media and the advertisers and that part of our culture. But what all of the spiritual leaders teach us, what all of the scriptures teach us is the good thing is the connection to God. Has nothing to do with how much we make, what title we have, how many years of life we get, how tall we are or short we are, or fat or thin, or beautiful or ugly. It has to do with how close we are to God. That's the good thing. And so, yes, many times people who give of themselves selflessly, who live altruistically, who live honestly, may not necessarily in this very narrow vision, in this very objective way of looking at things, have the things from the good box that we've deemed good. But when you actually get with them behind closed doors, out of the show, when the community is away, I've had the opportunity to be with Pujya Swamiji in so many cities and so many countries around the world. And what you see is those people who the rest of the community looks at and thinks, oh, why can't we be like they are? Why can't we have a house like that? Why can't we have Mercedes like that? Why can't our children look like this? We think they've gotten all the things from the good things box. Then the doors close, the people leave, and they sit at Pujya Swamiji's feet and cry. So, suddenly those things don't look so good anymore. Suddenly all the money, all the cars, all the houses can't bring us what actually we want in our life. The peace, the joy, the meaning, the connection, the sense of fulfillment, the sense of meaning. So, the first thing that we have to do is to change our definitions and to realize that really the good things box is the people who can go to sleep at night without taking a sleeping pill, who can get up in the morning without needing an antidepressant to convince themselves life is worth living, who at the end of the day feel gratitude for whatever they've gotten, who feel that their cup is overflowing. When I first moved to India, that was the thing that touched me so much. Having come from such a wealthy background in America, and yet surrounded by people who always felt like they didn't have enough. Then you go to India and you've got people who have nothing. And what do they want? You to come home for dinner. They don't have enough to feed their families. But what's going to bring them the greatest joy? कि आपको भोजन खिला देंगे. पूरी फैमिली एक रात नहीं, पूरी हफ्ते भूखी सो जाएगी. पर आपको खिलाने से इतनी खुशी मिलेगा. That's the good things box. Not we've eaten so much we have to go home and take antacids in order to be able to go to sleep because we have heartburn. So that's the most important distinction.
अपने शरीर में महाभारत चलता है, अपने दिमाग में महाभारत चलता है, पूरी दुनिया में महाभारत चलता है, और आदमी का जन्म और मृत्यु महाभारत में होता है, तो इस रथ में बैठने की लायका कैसे ली जाती है?
The Mahabharata, of course, is a katha in and of itself. 7 days, 9 days, and that's never even enough. But with 2-3 minutes, what I could say to you is, the core, the crux, is let him keep the reins in his hands. When we become a backseat driver in our lives, that's when the problem comes. When we know that we're being driven, when we have that faith to know this chariot is in God's hands, then that's where the key comes. That's where the faith comes. That's where even the answer back to her question comes. Then we're not worried about, why am I getting this fruit from my action? Why is this one getting that fruit? Why is this happening? Because we know that where we're going to end up is the right location. Look, if you get into a car and the person who's driving you is someone very familiar with the road. We came in the car today from Ashram Bhai's house to the temple. Pujya Swamiji knows, Ashram Bhai knows the way. So he can close his eyes and meditate in the car. He doesn't have to constantly be looking out the window, कि अच्छा वो हमारे exit आने वाले हैं. Right? He can close his eyes and meditate in the car. But if we're driving with someone who doesn't know the way, or who doesn't know how to drive, our child has just gotten their driving permit, right? We're right now, the steering wheel's in his hands, or her hands. But the sweat is pouring down our faces. Right? How many of us have pushed our foot on an imaginary gas pedal that doesn't exist? An imaginary brake? Because we know, या उसको रास्ता नहीं आता, या driving नहीं आता. जिसको रास्ता आता है और driving आता है, तो चिंता क्या है?
Is out, Mahabharata is in. Mahabharata is here, Mahabharata is there, all the time. Mahabharata, Mahabharata, Mahabharata. Before this Mahabharata took place, Krishna was there all the time, but Arjuna and Duryodhana, they both, when the war was declared, and Lord Krishna tried to stop this war in many, many ways. I don't want to go to the long story because we are at the time. And one thing you must have noticed in that story, beautiful story, when war was declared and Krishna tried to stop it and could not happen, now both Arjuna and Duryodhana, one night, they go to Krishna. And Krishna asks them, Arjuna is sitting in his feet side, and Duryodhana towards his head side. And you can see the characters now. It shows from the character who is sitting where. In our culture, that also makes a big difference. It's not that on any sofa you can sit, any couch you can sit, but here you are being checked by your behaviors also, how you act and react and respond. Now, both are there, not to go into the long story, but Krishna asks them, how you are here? Lord, you know, the war is there, and we are here for the solution. What solution? Solution is peace, not the war, Krishna said. He said, but Duryodhana said, I know the peace is the solution, but I want my way. He said, if it's my way, then war is there. My way always brings the war. No other way, he said. My way is the way. Okay, so what do you want then? He said, what you can give me. Amazing, look at his language. He said, I have two things. One side is my army, and other side is me, and without the weapons. Choice is yours. And Arjuna, Duryodhana was so keen, before Arjuna asked anything, he knew if Arjuna says, I want the army, then will be a problem. He said, I want first. He said, okay, you go first. He said, I want all of your army, all the weapons and everything. Krishna looked at Arjuna. Arjuna said, yes, no problem, give it to him. He said, what about you? He said, Krishna, I want only you. No army, no weapons, you are my weapon. Prabhu, tame chumara जीवन रत्ना साथ है. Krishna had given the choice to both. And his choice is your what you want to create the Mahabharata, to win the Mahabharata. And that same moment when this was happening, Sanjay is explaining to Dhritarashtra. This last shloka comes, Yatra Partho Dhanudhara, is later. Like in that moment he said, Tathastu, and done. That is the answer. Make him your Valentine.